And hello once again, and welcome to today's United Kingdom talk, coming to you from the Mirable Studios. But not are they? Yes, we're in the garden again. I think possibly we might permanently move out into the garden for the summer. What do you reckon? Eh? Just a suggestion, because it's so nice, and I'm dressed rather a little bit casual, shall we say, today. Look, the shirt is gone, the t-shirt, the summery t-shirt is on, all white and lovely. I was gonna wear my vest, my sleeveless vest, thus, for those of you watching, showing my protruding muscles, which are always, well, I mean, strange really. As I've got a little bit older, the muscles now appear, rather than to be at the top of my arm, actually hanging down the bottom. I believe some people actually call these bingo wings. I'm not quite sure what they mean about that. As you know, anyone who's ever been to the bingo... Oh, hang on a minute. Just what's that on the floor there? A cone on the floor from one of the trees. As anyone will know, I am a regular bingo host at my own little night, Bingay. Little site for that, www.bingay.com, if you've never heard what it's about. I do apologise, those of you that have been watching for ages and ages now, when I repeat things, but nice people do pop in and out now and again and might miss something, and I'd hate that to happen. We don't want you to miss anything, honestly. There's an email address to the show, which is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. A few flies everywhere. It's funny that wherever I seem to go, there are flies that follow me. What's all that about? Is there a strange smell? I don't know. Flies everywhere. Well, the nice weather here in the UK is going on and on at the moment. We've had a lovely couple of weeks. I just hope it continues, because this time last year we had this sort of weather for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then that was it. The rest of the summer was diabolical. It really was. So fingers crossed to that. Those of you following the ongoing saga of my solar panels, that particular story is now 1.5 years old, will be pleased to know we've had so much sunlight that my meter reading, now I always take a meter reading on a Saturday to see how much electricity I'm producing. And you might be interested to know that I took my meter reading this morning on a Saturday. Okay, and it is now reading at the same, just after the reading it was 3 weeks ago. So in the last week I have made electricity, okay, because of the beautiful weather. I've made electricity that I'd already used for 3 weeks. So I've made 3 weeks worth of summer electricity. It's not bad, is it? You see, they work. I keep telling you, save up the money and do it. You need solar panels and wind turbines to save this planet. Mind you, quite honestly, while sometimes we want to save it, I don't know. Following up from that story, I mean, we only just mentioned it in passing, that dreadful story about those poor people in Burma. You know, when we first got the story, it was, a few hundred dead, then it got to 1,000, then 5,000, and now hundreds of thousands of people. Awful. My heart goes out to anyone who's got any family perhaps in Burma and may have lost someone. Awful thing, isn't it? Now, quite honestly, I'm lucky to be here this week, boys and girls, myself. Although there hasn't been any cyclones, thank God here, I did. Now, I don't want you to laugh, okay? Don't laugh about this. Now, you know we're starting to do the bingo at West 5, okay? I popped in there. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. I've got no tissue either. Oh, yes, I have. Oh, dear. I mean, excuse me. I could go over it all, you see, and remove the sneeze from the programme if I wanted to. But that removes the rawness of life, doesn't it? I mean, who knows what's going to happen next on this programme? 1 minute you're sneezing, then you're I may even go into the toilet in a moment and use the lavatory. Don't worry. I promise I will take you with me. You will hear and see all. Perhaps not on this show, though. You'll have to keep watching. Oh, what a dreadful thing to say, dear. Yes, I'm lucky to be here. I was just delivering some Bingay prizes to West 5 where we're going now on Tuesday, so we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing Monday as well as Tuesday Bingay in 2 different venues, and I had to take some prizes down to the new venue West 5 because my little car isn't big enough to hold everything that I like to take down there. So I mean, not quite 2 car trips, but certainly 1 car trip, you know, just to take a few of the larger items like I don't know, sometimes one of the prizes could be like a big truck. You know those big trucks you can buy, toy trucks, and they're like 2 or 3 foot long. And once you have a few large things like that, and boxes of kettles. Oh yes, one of the most popular prizes at Bingay, as chosen by the customers, is an electric kettle. Don't ask me why. I mean, we've given away hundreds now. There we are. That's one of the big things. So I took down a box of kettles and a few other bits like that. Now, so I said to the governor, John, right, where do we store all these things? Because I thought we were going to store the items in a cupboard, which is right next to the stage. So I got there with my bits and pieces. I said, where's the cupboard then? He said, oh, I've been thinking about that. You've actually got more space downstairs. And I thought, oh no, don't say I'm going to have to carry prizes up and down the stairs every Tuesday night, because I already have to do that at the Golden Lion. I do leave my prizes there, but they're down in the cellar. And it is a bit of a job. That's why I get there so early. When I do bingo at the Golden Lion, okay, I get there round about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, we don't start till 8. But all these prizes have to be brought up from downstairs. And in the summer, because there's no air conditioning in that pub either. Oh, it's shocking. And at the moment, to add to that problem in this weather, right, in this hot weather, to add to the problem of no air conditioning, there's something wrong with the boiler. Now, you know what I'm going to say. At least this is what I'm being told by management. Okay? Who I get on with like a house on fire. Don't get me wrong, right? There's something wrong with the boiler, which means, are you ready for this? All the hot water and all the heating is on or off. For some reason, and someone told me that there's a valve stuck or something. Excuse me, I got dribbling nose there. There's a valve stuck, which opens another. I don't know. I'm not a plumber. Which opens the heating valve to. I don't know, to try and cool down the system. Does that sound about right to you? Anyway, the last couple of weeks, the heating in there has been full on. Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. After a certain time, I think that's 11 o'clock possibly, we are not allowed to hook the doors open because there are houses and flats nearby, and we don't want to wake them up. And you just sit in there getting hotter and hotter, and it's too much to. Now, I've got a big fan. They've put a big fan next to where I stand, and that's on most of the time. But what a terrific waste of money. Having your heating full on like that, it's ridiculous. So that's the problem at the moment. We've got a bit of a problem with the heating in the Golden Lion. And when you're carrying loads of prizes up and downstairs, it's no mean feat. You end up sweating, and then when you're putting on your shirt and your trousers to do the Bingay later on in the evening, it's not pleasant, is it? It's not pleasant. Quite honestly, I'm quite happy, quite pleased to get out at the end of the night, to get out in the cool. That's the only reason. So I've collected some prizes from there because I'm sharing the prizes between the 2 venues. Taken them down to West 5 last week. And he says, well, no. He says, no, come here. I want to show you this. And he took me over and showed me this lift thing. He says, there you go. All you've got to do is put your prizes on there, and the bar staff will take them down take them down. I said, well, where's the button? He says, oh, no. And he started winding a handle, dear. I mean, it was like something out of the Dark Ages. It really was. He started winding a handle, and this lift carefully went down with my 3 prizes on there, because I only took a couple of items there. I didn't want to go mad because I'm going to take the rest down on the first night, which, let me see, when's the next show? 2 more shows, and then, oh, can I just blow my nose just a minute? Oh, excuse me. 2 more shows, this one and the next one, and then, where's a fly? And then I will have done my first night at West 5, so I'll let you know how that was on, not next show, the show after, okay? I know in previous shows I said we'd already started, but that was a mistake. Oh, I get very confused. I get very confused. Anyway, I haven't told you yet why I'm lucky to be here, have I? We've gone on the subject. I said, well, where do they end up then? You know, thinking that possibly all these prizes are just going to go down and down, and forevermore they're going to go down and end up in a crypt with lots of dead bodies, maybe dead famous people, or maybe it's a religious pub. And you'll go down into the crypt and there'll be bishops and popes and things like that. Well, not at all. No, it just goes down into the cellar. He said, come down and have a look. Right? Are you reading ahead of me yet or not? Are you guessing what happened next? The stairs in pubs... Now you know where I'm going now, don't you? Hey? The stairs in pubs are inherently, 9 times out of 10, extremely steep. And you don't have much tread on where to put your foot. You've got it. So John's gone down the stairs and I've followed. I've put one heel, because you can't even get your entire foot on the step. You can get about half of it. I've got my slipper here. You get about half your foot, sort of from your heel to about half. Anyway, I've put my foot on this step, gone down another one, and that's it. My heel has slipped and I've gone bang, 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 bang down the stairs on my bum. And I have to, quite honestly, I don't know how I'm able to sit down. I beg your pardon? What do you mean you must have had a good weekend? No, pardon? Sorry? Please, if you don't mind. Oh dear, I have a big bruise on my behind. And my arms are actually aching, where I've tried to stop myself falling down, and it's not pleasant. And he said, are you alright, Chris? And I thought, oh no. I mean, of course, you know, this will be all, no doubt, the entire, because John is the sort of person, he likes to have a joke. In particular, he likes to have a joke with me, because he knows I can take it. And I've just got this feeling, when I go in there on Tuesday, oh look, there's a little one of those little floating things in the air. What are they called? Fairies, dandelions, aren't they? We call them fairies. Little fairies floating around everywhere. There are fairies at the bottom of the garden. Was one sitting here. Anyway, back to the story. So I've ended up sitting. Fortunately, I didn't go head first. I mean, because cellars in pubs, they're concrete floors. You never get a carpet or a wooden floor in the bottom of a cellar. They are always concrete floors. So you imagine yourself, if you went head first, a lot of damage. Probably to the concrete if it was my head, but you'd have an awful lot of damage. So that's the story there. I ended up sitting on the bottom step, and John says, are you alright? I said, yeah. I said, don't mention this to anyone. He said, would I? And I've just got this feeling I'm going to go in there on Tuesday night, and all the staff would be standing there, ready to take the marker out of my poor bruised bum. So I remember to tread carefully. So I do feel I'm lucky to be here. That could have been very nasty, that. Someone above must have been watching down on me. Possibly. And probably laughing as well. With one of the bar staff there that I met for the first time, his name's Lee, and we got talking about things. He's only young, he's about 20, and you know how I am, talking to anyone, and it turns out that he reads the news on the BBC. Yes, he's done a few BBC local radio stations, I think Stoke. BBC Radio Stoke, I think he does. And I think he said he did News 24. I haven't actually seen him. I wouldn't have thought he'd be reading the news to camera. Unlike me, of course, you know. International celebrity, award-winning DJ, landlord, global broadcaster, environmental conservationist, pilot, master of merriment, connector, and of course, your fairy godmother. That's the shortened title, incidentally. The title I like my friends to use. Please don't come up to me in the street and embarrass yourself by saying, "Hello, Chris." Please use the whole title. Hello, Chris Reardon, international celebrity, award-winning DJ, landlord, global broadcaster, master of merriment, pilot, connector, and your fairy godmother. Sometimes I forget little bits and pieces. It goes on forever. And it seems to get longer by the week, that thing. Perhaps you can think of something else that you'd like to call me. If so, let me know on the email. It's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. So Lee reads the news on the BBC now. It can be his little MySpace thing, but I couldn't get it to work. It was coming up as page not found, so he's probably giving me the wrong piece of information. I hope he doesn't give people the wrong news after saying that. All right, so that was quite news. So there, that was my my lucky escape from death last week. We had a little quick message from Carl in Yorkshire. I've noticed Carl in Yorkshire, a regular correspondent to the show, but he does tend to write like 2-line emails, which is okay, Carl. Don't you worry about that. I can always expect. I can. You know, you could probably send me a 1-word email, and I could expand that to an hour's worth of chat. I reckon I could do that. Maybe we should do that. Maybe people should start sending me in 1-word emails, and I'll attempt to expand that 1 word to an hour's worth of chat. What do you reckon? Do you reckon I could do that? I do. Why don't you try it yourself? But whether the emails are short or long, it never bothers me. It's always very nice to hear from you, especially people that haven't written before and perhaps have been with us a long time. Sometimes, now and again, I've got my sunglasses here and it's getting a little bit brighter here. Do you mind if I put these on? I actually don't like... So I'm just blowing on my sunglasses and going to rub them on my nice white t-shirt. Now someone's going to write in now and tell me you really shouldn't do that because it'll scratch the sunglasses, aren't you? I know you are, I know, it's just laziness. There we are, that's better. My delicate little eyes. Oh, incidentally, anyone notice my new haircut? Yes? My friend Tracy, who has become a viewer as well. Yes, she actually, I mean, it's a bit worrying, really. She actually plays DVDs of this programme in her hairdressers, because she owns 3 hairdressers, while people are working and sitting there having their hair cut. How strange is that? I have to tell you, now, this isn't widely known. Come here. But... shh, don't tell anyone this, right? I actually, do you know, I don't pay to have my hair cut done. No. I exchange with her my DJ demo discs and videos of this show on DVD. Yeah. So it's all free. Get my hair cut for nothing. I quite like it, and she's done the back of it. And she, bless her heart. Do you know what she does? You know when the hairdresser comes round afterwards and puts the mirror behind you and all that, she's ever so good. Do you know, she's really careful not to position the mirror up there above my head so that I see the bald spot. She's really careful like that. Now, how thoughtful is that? Why is it that someone I hardly know, she's been cutting my hair now for about 8 years, but why is it that someone I hardly know like that is so careful not to offend and hurt poor little sensitive Christopher, when people like nieces and nephews are only too happy to point out all your bad bits? Why is that? Why is that? Please tell me. Let me know on the email, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, back to Carl, and he wrote about, I was asking what I should do with my new piece of recording I've got, because I left my recording microphone device, which incidentally is sitting on the desk next to me today. Look, my hands are free. I'm free to do what I wanna do. Great song, that, by Ultranate in the 90s. Do you remember that? Well, I always remember being at an outdoor event. It was called Purple in the Park, and it was in Stockwell, which is near Brixton in London. And me and my friend Matt, who's the guy I work for on Saturdays nights now. He runs a large bar in London on Saturday nights, and I DJ for him and introduce cabaret there. And myself and he, we was at this event called Purple in the Park, and she, Ultranate, was singing I Am Free as we walked past the main stage. And now every time, sorry, that was squeaking. That wasn't actually my pocket opening then and money leaving it. Don't worry. You were worried then for a moment, weren't you? You were worried that I was about to spend money. Believe me, it is not going to happen, dear. The only thing this is true. The only things I really spend money on is food. I believe in buying the best food that you can afford. And by that I mean organic. Now, I don't for one moment really believe that organic food is better for you, except for the fact that it hasn't been covered in chemicals. Because I don't like eating stuff that's been caked in chemicals and things like that. Although I wonder how they keep the greenfly and all that off tomatoes and things like that when you think about it. What do they do? Do they employ people to go around and pick them off? Oh, what a job. Can you imagine that? Having to go around the tomato plants every morning and pick off the greenfly. What a dreadful job. I'm talking of plants. You may notice, those of you watching, that I have a lovely piece of wisteria, purple wisteria, hanging behind me today. Now, the reason for that is the garden at the moment is beautiful and very green. But I don't have any pretty flowers. Now, I've got some pink geraniums, which are about to flower because they're covered in buds. But apart from that, all the colours in here are green, which is nice, but you'd think there'd be a few flowers out by now. So I've got this bit of wisteria here, and I'm going to let you into a little secret, just as they do, you know, on TV programmes and things like that. You often, everything is temporary. When you see the buildings on EastEnders and Coronation Street, these things don't actually really exist as buildings. They are scenery. And if you're thinking that this is actually growing, I'm going to let you into a secret. No, it's not, because look, it is growing. It is actually growing elsewhere in the garden. And what I did was cut a piece off and hang it down behind me so it at least looks like there was a bit of colour on the picture today. Well, it's like a... What's that stuff at Christmas? Not Hollyoaks, is it? What's that stuff at Christmas? Where you kiss underneath it. Berries. Some sort of... The little white berries. Oh, I forgot what they're called now. Not dewberries. Oh... You know, at Christmas you get these white berry things, and you hold them and give us a kiss, and everyone runs a mile when I come over. Let me just reposition. My wisteria. There we are. What were those berries called? Do you remember? The ones at Christmas. Oh, tell me. Someone tell me by email. I can't remember for the life of me what they were. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, back to Carl's email at last. If you're a regular listener, you will know that a week or so ago, I put my little recording gadget outside in the garden at 4:30 in the morning, switched it on and recorded for 6 hours of noises all around, which will consist of birds singing, as you can hear now. Oh, don't shut up now that I've asked you to sing. Thank you. Right on time. Birds singing. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position where it's just countryside. There are houses around me, and there are other noises. So it will consist mainly of birds singing, planes going overhead. You might hear the odd vehicle, and possibly people talking as they walk in the path, which is a little bit further away from my fence. And I was asking people, what now that I've got this 6 hours worth of like outside sounds, what do I do with it? He suggested putting it on the website, which I like that idea, but the problem there is, if too many people log on and play the entire thing and just leave it running, then that will use up my bandwidth. Joy, sorry, bandwidth. Joy wants to know what bandwidth is. Okay, Joy, I would, for example, let me see how I can explain how you do this to you. Oh, yes. Joy, if I was given 100 letters, not French ones, dear, no, that's wrong. If I was given 100 letters to send, Joy, okay, then each month people would ask for these letters and I would send them out. And as long as no one more than 100 people asked for these letters, I'd be okay. Now, if I've got these letters and suddenly lots of people ask for them, I would soon run out, and then I'd be able to send out no more letters until the next month starts. So, similarly, Joy, if I was to put all this bird song on my website and too many people asked for it, then I'd be in trouble. Well, I wouldn't be in trouble, but it would get to the end of my allowance, and then it stops until the beginning of next month. Have I explained that well to you? See, I try, Joy. I'm so trying hard to bring you into the 21st century. I mean, who knows? One day you may even have a colour television. Sorry? Colour television, yes. Oh, you didn't know about that? Oh, yes, we've had it for years, dear. Years. Some people have even got more than 3 television channels now. I know you find that hard to believe, Joy. Oh, yes. Isn't that right? I'm only joking. Joy actually has a little bit of technology in her house. She has a DAB radio, haven't you, my darling? And she also has Sky television. I don't know if she actually subscribes to anything. She's got the free channels. I don't know if she subscribes to anything. I don't. I've got a Sky satellite dish here. United Kingdom Talk is available on Sky as well. If you're watching this, or indeed listening to the podcast, you can also get it on one of the satellite channels, RTI, which is available in the UK and Europe on the Sky channel 0195. Now, it does go on at a different time on there to everywhere else, okay? So I should tell you, if you ever want to hear it on Sky, channel 0195, it's on, are you ready? Tuesday night at 10 p.m. This is UK time, okay? Wednesday night at 11 p.m. and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Okay? That's when you can hear United Kingdom Talk, this particular programme, via Sky, channel 0195 on RTI. Once again, it's on Tuesdays at 10 p.m, Wednesdays at 11 p.m, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Okay? All those are UK times. Anyway, so Carl, thanks for the advice there, where to put the show on my website. I suppose what I could do is put it up there and then just keep an eye on how many people are downloading it. That might be an idea, mightn't it? I might do that. Keep listening and viewing. Actually, I think what I'd like to do is actually listen to the whole thing first, because you never quite know what's on there, do you? There could be anything on there. Some children walking past and using foul language. We don't have any of that on this programme. This good, clean living programme. No foul language, thank you very much. Alright, so thanks a lot, Carl. For a future programme, I wanted to ask you, can you recall, it doesn't matter how old you are or where you are, can you recall the first party that you ever went to? Whether it was round someone's house, or perhaps in a hall, or a nightclub, wherever. Do you recall, I don't mean a dinner party, a party with loud music and drinking and that sort of thing. Or indeed, if you're watching in a country where drinking isn't allowed, which you may well be one of the Muslim countries, what would be the difference? Do you have presumably you have house parties there, but without alcohol, do you? I'd like to know about the first party that you ever went to. Do you remember it? And what was the music playing? What sort of party was it? What sort of people were there? What country are you in? Let me know about the first party you ever went to. The email address of the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Alright, two things that I have managed to do since the last show. Do you remember I told you that the work was building up in the house? You know how it does. You leave it for a few days and that's it, isn't it? It starts building up. Well, I'm pleased to tell you that I have cut the hedge behind me, which is no mean feat. That virtually fills up a wheelie bin. And I've also hoovered the house from top to bottom. So I'm quite pleased about that. Now, I'm still finding Katie, you know my cat, I don't know where she is today, actually. Katie! Katie! Not quite sure where she is. She's usually sitting by my feet here. She must have gone for a little bit of a walk somewhere. Not quite sure. Katie, where are you? Oh, she's not here, is she? Anyway, I'm still finding cat fur on the stairs, which I think she's getting into the because she knows she's not allowed into the house because of my asthma problems. She comes into the kitchen and she sleeps there on one of the chairs, but she can't come into the rest of the house. And I think she's now able to open that kitchen door and close it as well, because I'm still finding cat fur on the stairs. What is she, naughty girl? What do you reckon? Is she able to close the door as well as open it? I suppose they jump up, do they, and get the handle. This chair is squeaking away. I'll have to get some oil for this chair, I think. Just a minute. Let me just screw. I've got a nut at the back here. I'm going to just screw this up. Is that going to stop it? That stopped it. There's a little bit of WD-40 on there, I think. I've actually got two of these, love, little like garden chairs that my auntie bought me about 9 years ago now. Very comfortable, but there's a nut missing on one of them. I keep meaning to go down the DIY shop and get one. Alright, so that's our bit of chat for today. Now let's go on to our emails. As always, here she is, delicious Suko. How are you today, my darling? Who says, Dear Chris, I've been wanting to write this email for a long time, but as you know, had other things taking up my time. That's okay, my love. Better late than never. The taxman never seems to understand that, but there we are, better late than never. She says, as your personal assistant, public relations personal stylist, I absolve you from all but the most recent fall-offs, the fast food wagon, for this reason. Now, before you absolve me of this one, and I have written this down somewhere, here we are. Before I need to make a confession, Suko. Bless me, Suko, for I have sinned. It was 2 shows since my last food confession. One day, last week, after... Now, where was I? Was it after Tuesday? Yes, it was Tuesday. On Tuesday night, I had 1 sandwich, 1 bag of crisps, and... here's the bad bit. There was a special offer. Now, we have a little food chain here. Marks and Spencer's Simply Food. And recently, over the last couple of years, they have now moved some of their shops to combine them with petrol garages. And there's a particular one in Shepherd's Bush that I go past, or at least I can divert to go past there a couple of times a week. And their food is to die for. The Marks and Spencer's food is to die for. So I'm sure you can probably forgive the sandwich, which was a roast beef with horseradish sauce. I'm sure you could forgive that. You might even be able to forgive the crisps, knowing full well that I have cut back enormously on my crisp consumption. But I don't think you're going to be able to forgive coming home and eating 8 milk chocolate marshmallow with biscuits at the bottom tea cakes. Now, from a trying to find an excuse point of view, they were on special offer. You could buy 16 tea cakes for half the price of what they were. I think it was buy 8, get 8 free or something like that. Now, there is that as well, Suko. I did actually buy 16 of them. And that night, we're not talking over a period of days here, that's the problem. On the way home in the car, I had the sandwich and the bag of crisps. I got back here and then made a cup of tea, and I thought, I'll just have 2 of those tea cakes. And I'm afraid I had 8. And then went to bed. Oh, they were delicious, Suko. Absolutely delicious, dear. It gets worse, Suko. The next day I got up in the morning, had my usual breakfast, followed by 2 chocolate tea cakes. I then did a little bit of work on the computer, and before I went swimming, I had 2 chocolate tea cakes. When I came back from the swimming pool, I had my dinner. Now, what was it? It might have just been vegetable soup, followed by 2 chocolate tea cakes. And then, before I went to bed in the afternoon, I had another cup of tea and 2 chocolate tea cakes. So in the period of 12 hours, I had 16 chocolate tea cakes. Now, I'm going to just... you're not going to be able to see this, unfortunately. Right? But a magpie has appeared. Oh, no, it's disappeared now. What a cheek. It just appeared and flew over to my cat food. Will you not steal my cat food, please? The magpie's gone. What a liberty, isn't it? Stealing my cat food. So I'm very sorry about that, Suko. Bless me, Suko, I have sinned. I have had 1 roast beef with horseradish sauce sandwich, 1 bag of cheese and onion crisps, and 16 milk chocolate tea cakes. The thing is, do they count as fast food? Because I never said anything about not eating any sweets. I said fast food. Burgers, chips, that sort of thing. Huh? What do you reckon? Please let me know, Suko. I want to know how many Hail Marys I may have to say over the coming months. I hope it's not going to be 10 Hail Marys per chocolate tea cake. Otherwise we'll be here all day, dear. Maybe I could do an entire show out of saying Hail Marys. And I'm not taking the mick or anything like that. Not taking a meg, not being blasphemous. I could sit here and carry out Suko's penance. Maybe you want to give me some other task to do, Suko, to make up for eating 16 Marks and Spencer's delicious chocolate tea cakes in the space of 12 hours. And do you know what? There is a Marks and Spencer's food place near me, near here. And I'm very tempted now to walk into town and go and buy another 16. Right, let's get back to the email. Sorry. I can't lie to you, Suko. I can't lie to you. Suko says, I absolve you from all but the most recent falls off the fast food wagon for this reason, as she's my personal assistant. I feel as long as you eat fairly healthily, which I think I do, low fat, high protein meals, and fresh fruit and vegetables, which I do, you are entitled to a dessert each day, whether at home or out. Oh, I tell you what I did do again this week in my slow cooker, another beef casserole. Oh, that's delicious. Delicious. I have, in the beef casserole, let me tell you, Suko, I have, there's 3 onions, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 7 carrots, there's half a packet of frozen peas, and there's the beef. Oh, and some gravy, some onion gravy, which is the powder, and I fill up the thing with water, put the gravy powder, mix it all together, and then turn it on for 12 hours. I tell you what, oh, it's delicious. If you haven't got a slow cooker, boys and girls, you must get one. They're not expensive. They are not, and someone else was asking me, what is a slow cooker? It's not a pressure cooker, okay? It's not a pressure cooker. You put your ingredients in the night before, turn it on for about 10 or 12 hours, and in the morning you've got the most beautiful tender meat and vegetables that you have ever tasted in your life. It literally falls apart in your mouth. You must get a slow cooker. I know if you're here in the UK, Asda are doing, now they've gone up a little bit, but it's still about £9, just under, I think that about £8.46 to buy a slow cooker in Asda. Go and buy one, you won't regret it. And there's lots of different things you can do in there, but basically, you, as I say, you chop up your vegetables, you chop up your meat, you put the water in, you put the gravy powder in, you put the lid on, and you do not remove the lid. Do not remove the lid at all to stir it, okay? You turn it on automatic and you leave it for 10-12 hours. And then you serve it up. Oh, delicious, delicious Suko. Suko says, McDonald's apple pie is fine if you ate a nutritious lunch or dinner. Ice cream we can't live without, and chocolate is the new apple, high in antioxidants. Oh, really? I like that, Suko. Chocolate is the new apple, high in antioxidants. You're having a laugh, aren't you? No, the trouble is I like milk chocolate. I think the one that's high in antioxidants is plain, isn't it? Am I right there? Someone will correct me on that one. Then she goes on to say, however, Chris, 4 sausage rolls, you know what sausage rolls are made of? Pig meat. And pig meat makes 1 pork up. Are you suggesting that the sausage rolls are going to make me fat? Is that what you're suggesting, Suko? Fat already, darling. Oh, mind you, I have lost weight this week a little bit. Unintentionally, incidentally. I'm not going out at the moment to try and lose loads of weight. I think it's because I've started walking again. Because I gave up the jogging, I got fed up with that eventually. I enjoyed it while it lasted, but I've started jogging now, and it was I was getting bad knees and aching, not aching legs, but pains in strange places in the legs, which apparently are caused by jogging, putting too much stress on the joint. But walking, no problem at all. No problem at all. And I walk the same distance as I used to jog. So that must be good, yeah? And I do that 2 or 3 times a week. She says, pig meat wakes 1 pork up. We wouldn't want that now, would we, Suko says. So as of 1st of May, 2008, yes, I know that was a couple of weeks ago, you have 1 fast food entry on your list. Now, regular viewers will know, I have promised not to have fast food this year more than 10 times as part of my New Year's Eve resolutions. All the others have now been broken, I'm afraid. One of the New Year's Eve resolutions was to read your emails out within a week. But that hasn't happened either, because we've always got so much to talk about, haven't we? Chat, 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 chat. So she says, you have 1 fast food entry on your list, April the 4th, 4 sausage rolls at Sister Sharon's. Oh, she's starting to sound like a nun now. My sister is nothing but a nun. Not with what comes out of her mouth, Suko. Oh, it's shocking, dear. The swearing, dear. She sits there, she has another gin, another chocolate from the packet. She says, Suko goes on to say, allowable at fast food establishments are grilled chicken or fish, nice, jacket potatoes, my favourite, vegetables, steamed, boiled or broiled. What is broiled? I'm not quite sure what broiled is. Can you explain that, please? Salads with low or no fat dressing. Yes, I don't like salads with dressing at all. I think it spoils them, don't you? And isn't it hard? If you go in a restaurant and you're going to have a salad, you've got to tell them right at the beginning, no dressing. Oh, do you just want a bit? No, I don't want any. We'll just try a little. No, I don't want any. You've got to be firm, dear. Firm. Nothing worse than anyone being a little bit limp. It's got to be firm. Be hard. Fresh fruit, she goes on to say. Yogurt, with or without a granola topping. Beans, including chilli. We like chilli. We like chilli. Soup, yes, I like vegetable soup. And tomato soup's my favourite. I don't have much of that. Turkey or chicken and cheese sandwiches. A cheese sandwich is allowed. But that's fat, isn't it? Cheese? I'm surprised you said that. Cheese sandwiches. And an occasional ice cream cone. And when you say occasional ice cream cone, Suko, that's exactly what I have. It's actually a little tub I have with a sprinkling, and literally, you know, do you get flake in America? With about a quarter of a flake in, sprinkled on top, I have an ice cream, and I have that twice a week. That's it, and it's a Mr. Whippy ice cream. Do you know what I mean by that? It's the really soft stuff, not the hard. I don't like hard ice cream. It's boring. I like Mr. Whippy ice cream, and I usually get that from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then she goes on to say, restricted to 10 a year, cheeseburger with or without fries. Now, the thing is with the fries, Suko, does that include chips? Now, we have a difference here between fries and chips. Fries, we would consider the very thin McDonald's type chips. Okay? I know what chips are to you. Chips to you are crisps to us. Okay? Your potato chips in a packet, to us, we call them crisps. Chips to us are basically big fat bits of potato fried. Like McDonald's, but 4 times the width. And I heard somewhere that these are better for you because they're bigger. They don't soak up as much fat. So I don't know if you're including that really there, Suko. She goes on to say hamburger with or without fries, fried fish and chips. Oh, now have I had that this year? No, I haven't. And that's one of my favourite meals, fried fish and chips from the fish and chip shop. Oh, I love it. Fried chicken, don't eat that. Ham and cheese sandwiches. Ah! Now you've got cheese on there again. But this time it's with ham. So you're saying there, ham and cheese sandwiches are not alright, and turkey or chicken and cheese sandwiches are. Shouldn't we knock out the cheese? Have you made a mistake, Suko? I think you might have done. Have you made a mistake, my love? Let me know. Bacon not allowed. Oh, I hardly have any bacon. Hot dogs. Well, I used to enjoy a hot dog in the cinema. I'm not paying their prices for that though. Don't they rip you? I don't want to go on to that. I often bring that subject up. The price of food in cinema is astronomical. It's outrageous, dear. Take in banana sandwiches. I have, and you've got to sneak them in, haven't you? Eh? Because I don't think you're allowed to take your own food into a cinema. You have to sneak them in a pocket. I mean, I don't know what they think of me. Some poor old codger sitting in the cinema with his flask of tea and his banana sandwiches. Do you take your own food in as well? It's a bit difficult to get ice cream in because it tends to melt in your trouser pocket. And you end up with a very sticky mess, dear. Pardon? Pizza, not allowed. Oh, I like pizza. And she does say excessive sausage rolls. Well, I'm glad you say that, Suko, because really, the only time I eat sausage rolls usually is at my sister's house. It's true. When in doubt, you can always check in with me. I'm there for you, babe. And Suko also mentions the fact that, remember I said to you about James Dean's site? Now, James Dean hosts the matinee show. The matinee, is it matineeshow.co.uk? I can never remember. But I mentioned on the website, James Dean supposedly, boys and girls, a very good friend of mine. And yet, on his website, no pictures of me and him. And he has got some. No pictures of me and him on there. Only pictures of him standing next to celebrities that have had records out or things like that. None of me and him. It's a little bit upsetting, really, isn't it? Well, Suko says, not only did James Dean neglect to show a photo of you, his dear friend, on the matinee website, but have you noticed any pictures of the matinee's Broadway correspondent, Suko herself? It's a liberty, that's what it is, dear. She has no pictures of her on there either. What a chick. Well, fine, matinee. Sorry, James, that we're not big enough celebrities to appear on your sad little lonely website. I really am sorry, dear. Oh, dear me. So, thanks for that. Oh, and Suko wanted me to know that Betty's daughter... Now, you remember Betty? Who's been on a recent tour here to London and the UK? I want to hear from you, Betty. Tell me all about it. I'm sure you're back home now. But Betty's daughter is Jade's best friend, which I didn't know. She said you read the email from them on Saturday's show a couple of weeks ago. Her name is pronounced like the month, April. Oh, that's nice, April. Thanks for that, Suko. Now, let's see. Oh, time is running away with us once again. And I've got so many emails to do here, which I'm going to have to obviously save for the next shows. Let me check the dates. Who's the longest one? Oh yes. I was going to read an email from someone who recently lost a parent again. Same as yourself, Suko. We've actually had a few listeners and viewers to the show since January who have lost dearly beloved ones. And I wanted to read you a story today from someone who doesn't want to be identified, so that's okay. But I want to give this one to do. So once again, I'm going to hold that back until the next show. I apologise for that if you're waiting for that to come out, but it deserves time. You know, there's certain emails that you don't want to rush through. Well, you don't want to rush through any of them, to be honest. But certain ones, they deserve a little bit more respect, perhaps, that you could give in just a few minutes. So I'll hold on to that one, all right? And I think we're just about to squeeze one more in today. Now, who shall I choose? David or Tony? Shall we do it ip dip, shall we? Because I've got one, and they came in on the same day. David or Tony? Ip dip, threepenny bit, you are not it. Right, David? You'll have to wait for the next show. Okay. Oh my God, there's another one now as well. I forgot there's another one. Let's do it again. This is... Oh no, I'll have to do all three together, won't I? There's ignore that one. Ignore that ip dip. Okay? We got David, CW and Tony. One in the UK, one in Australia, and one... Where's this one? Oh, I'm not sure where Dave is. Okay, here we go. Ip dip, but you are not it. Okay? Australia, CW, you'll be on the next show, and so will David. Okay? So here we are. The last email for the show today is from Tony. Hello, Tony, who says, Chris, okay, now the dead cat he was suggesting that I need for my microphone is not actually a dead feline cat. Oh, thank God for that. I thought you were suggesting that I kill one of my cats just so it would stop the wind problems on my microphone. But he's not. He says the dead cat is not a dead feline cat. It is a fake, I'm glad it is as well, dear, fake. A fake fur cover for microphones. He says, see my Video Rode NT1A field mic. Well, I don't know what that is. I'll have a look at that. Or, as you know, a wind gag for outside broadcasts. A lot of people would like to put a gag in my mouth, to be honest, David. I don't know why. They think I talk too much, which I find hard to believe, to be quite honest. But they do. Some people do. He says, this will limit the gusting wind from reaching the mic element or elements. Yeah. Well, the problem there, Dave, is it's the microphone on the camera that picks up the wind. This, my little recording device microphone, is actually very good at stopping wind noises. But the mic on the camera is built in, and there's nowhere to put such a device over the microphone, unfortunately. All right, so I won't be able to do that. However, on the show where the wind was bad, I actually managed to take the video with the camera and use the sound from this, and I matched the two up rather clever. You didn't even notice, did you? It's very clever. We're getting ever so technical now, so I think I might have solved that problem, Tony. All right, thanks for that. Point number two, speed cameras, not safety cameras, David says. Or Tony. Did I say David? I'm sorry, David's the next show. Tony, apologise. Apologise. That bless me, Suko, for I have sinned again. Speed cameras, I've got to do two, haven't I? There we are. Speed cameras are not safety cameras. They are indeed there for revenue, nothing more, he says, because if they were safety cameras, as the name implies, why is there not one or more outside my 10-year-old son's school? As anyone knows, the worst offenders of speeding in these areas are the parents picking up the kids from school, parking on the zigzag lines or on the path or wherever they can get closest to the school entrance. I absolutely agree with you. I don't know if they're the worst drivers ever, but they're bad. They are bad. And you know what? The lollipop lady, I don't know if you heard a couple of shows ago, but she tells me she actually has women shouting at her to get out of the way when they are on their way to the school to pick up their kids. And after this, not all of them, don't get me wrong, this is not all mothers, but a lot of them. A lot of them. And a lot of them also are too bone idle to park a little bit away from the school so that you can have a clear school entrance. They've got to be right at that doorway, haven't they, in the car? You know what I mean? You must have seen this. In America, the system is much better. They have these big yellow buses that go around picking up children from their homes and dropping them back at designated places from the school, so you don't get this. It's only in this country. And half of them, they only live 2 minutes down the road. It's a shocking waste of petrol and all the rest of it. Point number 3 Tony makes is on light pollution, and I'm afraid that's where I'm going to have to leave it on the show today. As always, thank you very much for joining me. We'll do the rest of the emails on the next show, okay, including some more from Susan, our cat lover, and Tony and CW. Oh no, we're finished off Tony's one, and CW and David as well. Okay, thanks very much for joining me. Don't forget that email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you on the next show. From myself, Chris Reardon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.